How's it going, everybody? Evan from I Quit My Band here, back in the reaction zone today. And today we're doing a tier list video for one of my favorite bands, Modest Mouse, The Boys. Indie rock legends, Modest Mouse, they just put out a new record, An Eraser and a Maze. We're going to be reviewing that on the channel later this week. But I wanted to use the occasion to be able to do a tier list. They're one of my absolute favorite bands. I wanted to go comprehensive here. So we're going to do not only the studio albums, but we're going to do major EPs, live albums, compilations, and maybe an album from another band. I drew the line at singles and basically anything that's not on streaming. I know they have other tapes and shit like that, but come on, man. I'm doing my best. All right, so we're going to start it off with their first studio album. This is A Long Drive for Someone with Nothing to Think About. Just incredible songs right out the gate. Dramamine as the opener, incredible. I love Breakthrough. I love Custom Concern. Head South, Head South. Another banger. And it shows like how much creativity they had already. It's over like an hour long. I think there's 16 tracks. I think this is like the most pure display of what made them a special band, especially in the early part of their career. And it's just the irreplaceable dynamic between the three players. I think this might be their most like depressing album. Like this whole album has such a somber, sad vibe. And then on something like Exit Does Not Exist, when Isaac screams, I hear voices. It's like, it's fucking terrifying. Already some like amazing lyrics from Isaac Brock. I love Talking Shit on a Pretty Sunset. The whole line about, I changed my mind so much I can't even trust it. My mind changes me so much I can't even trust myself. Like, you're 19 years old or whatever you are writing this. And that's another thing. They're like teenagers, fresh out of high school writing this album. And it still holds up today within their discography. I mean, obviously, they would write, punchier songs and have more polished releases. But I think that this still captures something unique that none of their other records do. And it holds up with some of their best records, despite all of its limitations. I think we're going to go A tier on Long Drive. Yeah, that feels right. Next, we got the EP Interstate 8, more like Interstate Great, because there's some fucking awesome songs on this. The title track, fantastic. Sleepwalking, I love that fucking song so much. Hearing them do like a 1950s rock and roll song and make it like this haunting, depressing ballad is so good. And then the back half of the EP is the Live at Sunburst, Montana demos, which they recorded in like Isaac's garage. Like you get to hear the initial demos that they submitted that ultimately got them signed with Up Records for Long Drive. And they're fucking awesome too. Like hearing, like if you thought Long Drive was raw, hearing those, it's like them in their most primitive form. But there's like the version of Broke is great. So this is a great EP on its own. I'm hesitating putting it in A just because a lot of the best songs on here end up on another release that I feel is like the definitive release of those songs. And so some people might disagree with this, but I'm going to go just a hair below. We're going to go B on Interstate 8. Next up, we have The Fruit That Ate Itself, which they recorded with Calvin Johnson, founder of K Records. And there's an interview where one of the members of Modest Mouse said that if they jingled their keys, Calvin Johnson would commit it to record. And you kind of get that vibe on this. I think Isaac said that he went into the studio with like 2 completed songs and they ended up releasing 9 tracks. And like half of them, I think, are like just songs being played in reverse. It's interesting, I would say, is probably the best thing that I would say about it. The Way Down, I like. I think it's more like a completist only. It has its own vibe. It's not bad, but I don't think that I can put it up there with some of the best releases. So we're going to go C tier for now. Next, we have their second studio album, The Lonesome Crowded West. And this might be my favorite album of all time. Just an absolute banger. It takes everything that they showed potential with in Long Drive and like mastered it immediately, like a year later. Calvin Johnson also produced this record, and I think they brought in Phil Eck to do a couple of the songs. You know, opening with Teeth Like God's Shoeshine, I love that fucking song. Cowboy Dan, Doing the Cockroach, Bankrupt on Selling, Styrofoam Boots. It just, every song is great. And we talk about it on the show from time to time of like, the thing that really separates, I think, the best albums is not only the great songs, but great moments within the album. You know, like within those great songs, there's these moments that feel like magic, that, you know, it goes beyond just putting the right chords and the right melodies together. And this album is just full of those types of moments. The snare hits on Teeth Like God's Shoeshine before they go heavy again. The fucking, well, in Cowboy Dan, you know, Styrofoam Boots when the drums come in. Like, it's not perfect, but that's what's perfect about it. Like the fact that Trucker's Atlas goes on for 11 minutes. I love Isaac's lyrics, and I think these are his best lyrics, like really honing in on like the existential, you know, he's like the Albert Camus of the trailer park. I was in heaven, I was in hell, believe in neither, but fear them as well. Like, is there a better opening line in a song? I could go on and on about how much I love this album. And even like the album tracks are so cool. Like Jesus Christ is an Only Child, Long Distance Drunk, Closing Time Lounge. I mean, it's the best. It's going S tier. And I don't know if anything will unseat it. All right, next up, we have the EP, Night on the Sun. It's a good EP. I think it was a Japanese only release, and then it was put out by Isaac Brock's label Glacial Pace at some point. And yeah, I mean, it's the first time you hear Night on the Sun, which is such a fucking good song. And then it has the demos for Moon and Antarctica, Wild Pack of Family Dogs, Dark Center of the Universe. And there's like an alternate version of Lives called Your Life, which is cool. And then it also ends with Jeremiah Green just speaking a little Japanese for you. I think I feel similar, though, to Interstate 8 in that these are great songs, but they will come up on future releases. And I think that those releases might be a little stronger. So I think I'm going to go B tier on Night on the Sun and maybe just a hair below Interstate 8. Next, we have Building Nothing Out of Something. This is a compilation. It takes a bunch of B-sides and rarities from the beginning of the band. Yeah, this rules. This is one of my favorite things that they've ever put out. Opens with Never Ending Math Equation, which is a top 10, maybe top 1 Modest Mouse song. I fucking love that song so much. Interstate 8, Broke, Baby Blue Sedan is so good. You have Sleepwalking on here. Working on Leaving the Living is so fucking good. It has that like Eraserhead Lady in the Radiator song. A Life of Arctic Sounds, which is such a sick song. And Other People's Lives is such a good fucking closer. It's like for an album that's made entirely off of like odds and sods, it's as complete as anything in their discography. And somehow it has like a vibe. Like it feels cohesive in some ways. Like it has almost like this like Midwest emo sort of downtrodden vibe across the whole thing. And it's great. I think I'm putting it S tier. You know, I think it's as good as their best stuff. When I come back to Modest Mouse, I'm usually coming back to Building Nothing Out of Something. Next up, we have the third studio album, The Moon in Antarctica. God, what a fucking album. Maybe their most like complete piece of work. Like it has like this consistent, alienating, cold vibe throughout, but also some of their like best songwriting. Third Planet, Gravity Rides Everything, Dark Center of the Universe, Perfect Disguises, which is good on the album, but the BBC version I think is even better. These songs are like epic and emotional. Life Like Weeds is a top 5 Modest Mouse song. I love The Stars Are Projectors. I think Lives is one of the most underrated Modest Mouse songs. And it almost feels like a microcosm of, you know, Isaac's point of view and how the music is going to sound going further. Like it starts off like really depressing and really cynical about like the way people interact. And then like halfway through it becomes so much more like hopeful and optimistic. And I think you hear that on the later records. And it's cool that he does that over the course of like a 3-minute song. Yeah, I think that the Lonesome Crowd of West just reaches a little higher peaks for me. And I may just have a more personal relationship to that. So I think I'm going to go S tier, but we're going to wedge it somewhere in between Lonesome Crowd of West and Building Nothing Out of Something. Next up, we have Sad Sappy Sucker, which was originally going to be their first album. They shelved it, and then after they got signed to Epic, K Records reissued it or put it out for the first time. And yeah, it was probably a good move to not put this out as the first record. When I said earlier that Calvin Johnson would record them even if they were jingling keys, there's a lot of key jingling on this record. The last like 8 tracks are all just answering machine messages. There's one from the singer from Murder City Devils who's just like, "Hey Isaac, you give me a call back. We want to head to Montana. We got to figure that out." And Calvin Johnson heard that and was like, "Get that on wax. The world needs to hear this." It has highlights. I like Dukes Up. It's kind of like a high school yearbook photo of an album. If we're saying like S tier and A tier are essential listening, this is as far down on like true heads only. So I don't think it's terrible. I think that there is some artistic merit, but we got to go F tier on this. Next up, we have Everywhere and His Nasty Parlor Tricks. Now, this is an EP of outtakes from The Moon in Antarctica, and it's really good. There's like a shorter version of Night on the Sun. Here It Comes is a song off here that I really like. I really like Willful Suspension of Disbelief, 3-Inch Horses, Two-Faced Monsters. Listening to The Moon in Antarctica and Everywhere and His Nasty Parlor Tricks, it's like a whole complete experience. Like the two albums kind of talk to each other in a cool way, but I don't know if it's quite essential listening, but I think if you like Moon in Antarctica a lot, I think it's definitely worth your time. It has a similar vibe to those recordings. Yeah, so I think I'm going to put it B tier, probably just in between Interstate 8 and Night on the Sun. Next up, we have Sharpen Your Teeth by Ugly Casanova, which is obviously not Modest Mouse, but I feel like this is a canon event. Ugly Casanova is a side project that Isaac Brock did with Brian Deck, the producer of The Moon in Antarctica, and it's fucking great. There's some really, really great songs. And I do think that you can kind of track some of the progression in songwriting and sonics of Modest Mouse through this release. Like it's much more country infused, a lot more strings, Americana type stuff. Kind of feels like a bridge between The Moon in Antarctica and Good News. And not to mention, there's just some fucking jams on here. Like Hotcha Girls is so good. Barnacles is great. Pacifico, Smoke Like Ribbons. It might be heresy to put an album that isn't Modest Mouse in the essential listening category, but I kind of want to do it because I really like this album. And so yeah, I'm going to go A tier. Below the debut, but Sharpen Your Teeth, Ugly Casanova is a fucking great record. Next up, the big one. Good news for people who love bad news. Yeah, this album can be like a sore spot against diehard fans. Some people think that it's the beginning of the end. And I guess in some ways it is, because they are a very different band after this. And the fact that Jeremiah Green isn't on this record, Ben Wechtel played drums on this record, but this is a great fucking record. It just is. Yes, is it more poppy and straightforward than their earlier stuff? Yes. Is it still weird as fuck? Absolutely. Like, this is one of the weirdest, poppiest albums that you could ever ask for. So many great songs. And, Float On, obviously, their big hit, their commercial hit. That song rules. The World at Large, so good. Ocean Breeze, Salty. I love Satin in a Coffin. I love Bukowski. I love, the fucking freak out horns that are all over this album. I think this has some of his strongest lyric writing. And I think it definitely is his best vocal performances. Like, he's still doing that weird lispy shout thing, but it's crazy the amount of hooks and how catchy he is able to make these songs. So yeah, I don't think it reaches the creative peaks of Lonesome Crowded West or The Moon in Antarctica, and it definitely announces a completely new direction for the band. But it's a fucking great album. I'm going A tier. Can I put it above the debut? I don't think that I can. Next up, we have Baron Von Bullshit Rides Again. Great title. Okay live album. It's okay. It's not recorded the best. It's not a great sounding live record. And again, Ben Weichel was on drums for this. So, if you want a live album from them, you want the big three. You want Jeremiah Green, Eric Judy, Isaac Brock, to a lesser extent, Dan Gallucci. We'll take him. It's all right. The most notable thing about this is when somebody yells out Freebird and Isaac Brock shits all over him and tells him that Freebird sucks.
Life is too fucking short to play or hear Freebird.
I don't agree with him. He's apparently been able to shed enough of his white trash past that Freebird doesn't speak to him any longer. I have not. But yeah, it's okay. You're going to find better sounding and cooler live performances on YouTube at this point. So, I don't think it's essential. It doesn't sound great. The version of Broke's pretty good. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe D. I'm sorry, Baron Von Bullshit, but we're going to go D tier on Baron Von B. Next up, we have We Were Dead Before the Ship Even Sank. If Modest Mouse is one of my favorite bands, the Smiths are my favorite band. And the thought of Johnny Marr joining Modest Mouse was like mind-blowing. I was like, this is going to be the best album ever made. It's not. It's probably the one that I have the most complicated relationship with. Parting of the Century, I think, is a super underrated song in the Modest Mouse catalog. It's like the last time that they really wrote an epic like they did on Lonesome Crowded West or The Moon in Antarctica. Like the build in that song is so good, and I love the lyrics. And a lot of the best stuff on this album are the pop songs. Like these might be the best pop songs that they've ever written. Dashboard, Fire It Up, Florida, Missed the Boat. Like those are the best songs on the album, and they are the poppiest. It is cool hearing Johnny Marr's guitar on certain songs, like where it's really prevalent, like Dashboard, Florida. But I do think that the back half is not that strong. I don't like Little Motel. I don't like Steamin' Genius. Don't like Education. Spittin' Venom's okay. I think people seem to like that song more than I do. I don't love it. Fly Trapped in a Jar, I don't like. People as Places as People, again, not the strongest. I do think Invisible is a fucking banger closer, though. I think Invisible is one of the last times that they really felt like Modest Mouse to me. So yeah, I know other people rate this much higher. To some people, this is like one of their favorite Modest Mouse records, but I don't know. I think it's more of a mixed bag. So I think I'm gonna go B tier and maybe middle of the pack B tier. Next up, we have No One's First and You're Next. This is an EP. It's a collection of outtakes and B-sides from Good News and We Were Dead. With how good those two albums are, I was expecting this to be better than it is. It's got like 2 or 3 really, really good songs. Like I love Whale Song, King Rat's sick, Satellite Skin's good. The rest is like... So they have some great EPs and outtake collections, but this is definitely the least good of them. I'm feeling maybe... We're going to go D tier, just above Baron Von Bullshit. All right, next we have Strangers to Ourselves, which is the longest wait that we've ever had between Modest Mouse records. I think it's like 8 or 9 years. Also, Strangers to Ourselves is where Eric Judy leaves the band, and I think you can kind of hear that. Like that dynamic between the three of them, I think was already kind of getting paved over with the layers of production and how well put together the tracks were, but it's completely gone once you get Strangers to Ourselves. It just feels like they were tinkering with songs that were not that strong to begin with, but just kept adding so many layers upon layers. And even the singles, I don't love. Like Lampshades on Fire, never really dug. It kind of feels like them trying to get back to We Were Dead. The ground walks with Time in a Box a little more because you get a little more of like the Isaac weirdo guitar stuff. If I have a favorite song on here, it's probably Coyotes. Actually, my favorite song is probably God is an Indian and You're an Asshole, and it's like a minute long. Yeah, I just wasn't a big fan of it when it first came out, and I'm still not a fan of it. I think we're going to go D tier and maybe just below the EP. Only because I like Whale Song and King Rat more than I like anything on that record. All right, next up we have The Golden Casket. I think this is the one that I hear more than any people say is their least favorite Modest Mouse record, and I can get that. There's not really like the jams on this. You know, some people would argue that Strangers to Ourselves, you know, at least you get Lampshades on Fire, at least you get Ground Walks with Time in a Box. And you don't really get any of that on Golden Casket. We Are Between is probably the closest thing to a like pop banger. There are a couple songs on here that I really like though. Wooden Soldiers in particular, I think is a really good song, especially the back half. It becomes really pretty. And the closer is really good too, Back to the Middle. I think that those two for me are stronger than anything on Strangers to Ourselves. There is a lot of shit that I don't like on this record, though. Fuck Your Acid Trip sucks. It is not a great album, but I do think that Wooden Soldiers and Back to the Middle push it just a bit higher than Strangers to Ourselves for me. So we're going to go D tier and just above STO. And next we have their newest album, An Eraser and a Maze. This is their first album since the passing of Jeremiah Green, so now Isaac Brock is the only remaining original member of the band. I haven't had a ton of time with the album yet. It just came out a few days ago. But after about 4 or 5 listens, I think I can safely say that this is the best thing that they've put out since at least We Were Dead. For the first time in a long time, some of that chaotic energy is back in the music, and for me, that was really missing on Golden Casket and Strangers. I think the album opens like really strong. Picking Dragon's Pockets, when it came out as a single, I loved, and it's a great opener to the record. Remember Yourself is a fucking awesome song. Life's a Dream is an awesome song. Third Side of the Moon is like haunting and sad, and some of his best lyrics in a long time. Dogbed in Heaven is another really good song. That one reminds me a lot of Ugly Casanova with the strings and the acoustic instrumentation. And Speak and Spell, I really like. That's the first guitar line in a really long time that has reminded me of something off of like Lonesome Crowded West. It feels like a step in the right direction after the last 2 records that felt just like too managed, too manicured. Every like sound and frequency was honed in and dialed in. In Eraser and a Maze, it sounds like a fucking rock band again. And it has me really excited. I've really enjoyed listening to it so far. Where it stacks up in the discography, you know, this might change with more listenings, but I'm feeling pretty strong C, maybe just above the fruit that ate itself. So what did you think? Do you agree with my rankings? Do you think that I'm an idiot? Do you think that Sad Sappy Sucker is S tier? Let me know in the comments below. Stick around later this week where we're going to go in depth reviewing the new Modest Mouse record, An Eraser and a Maze. Like and subscribe. Head over to our Patreon for bonus content, $5 a month. Right now, we are rewatching all of Battle of Ozfest. That's been a lot of fun. It's one of the worst television shows I've ever seen. I'm Evan from I Quit My Band. We'll see you next time.